Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who dat? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones, and yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. I really do appreciate it, man. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody is enjoying themselves. I had a really good weekend, man. Shouts out to my son's team, the 49ers. They finished up their season. And my boy Paxton had one of his best games, man. I'm excited, man. The way he was running that football, man, had me thinking, hey, man, I got myself a little Derrick Henry at the crib, you know. Look, man, there were so many other things that were going on this weekend. I didn't really do a show. Could I have done a podcast? Yeah. Would I waste all of my good feelings and positivity on what's going on in New Orleans? No. I wasn't. I know what was going on. Know eventually I was going to be able to talk about it, but just wanted to keep it all the way 100, man. I had better things to do. But we can go ahead and talk a little bit about it, man. Derek Carr restructures his contract, which is a surprise to absolutely nobody that has followed the New Orleans Saints. We all knew that more than likely the Saints were going to restructure Derek Carr, and you know they were going to try to kick the can down the road again, and just like other teams that just call a spade and you know cut their losses, the Saints, they don't want to do that. They rather just continue to gaslight the masses and make us feel as if the New Orleans Saints are looking good, and they are going to be a formidable bunch. And I just think that it's just a huge waste of time. Look, I understand how this whole New Orleans Saints thing work. You know, if you say something about the team or something like that, you know, people want to get upset with you. They want to get mad. They want to try to act as if, you know, you're not credible and all that other stuff, you know. Everybody, you know, they got their little group that they roll with, and you don't want to have anybody to step outside of that group. But here's the reality, man. The New Orleans Saints are playing themselves, and I hope they're not trying to play you or me to believe that Derek Carr is going to lead the Saints anywhere. I feel like it's absolutely sad, and when you think about it, that Derek Carr has shown you throughout this entire time that he didn't want to come back. He didn't want to come back to New Orleans. Dude didn't want to come back to this city, man. He didn't want to come back to the city. And the city does not want Derek Carr. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, I don't understand why the New Orleans Saints are just hell-bent on making their fan base miserable, because that's what they're doing right now. They're making their fan base miserable by parading out a quarterback that is not going to get the job done. Mickey Loomis, for some apparent reason, just refuses to cut his losses and say, hey, you know what, man, we need to go in a different direction. Who is he trying to prove something to? I just want to know, who is he trying to prove something to? Because he ain't trying to prove nothing to me. He's not trying to prove anything to you. everybody kind of feels as if this guy was just living off of Drew Brees and Sean Payton for the last 15 to 16 years. And even with the whole Kellen Moore situation, if Kellen Moore ends up becoming a good head coach, it is one of those situations where you just fall behind backwards into prosperity. That's just what happened. Like, everybody know Kellen Moore wasn't your first choice. You kind of just fell into this whole situation with Kellen Moore. So if Kellen Moore works out, that's just somebody that went into a store, got a quick pick, and won some money. Yet again, I'm just like, the fan base of the New Orleans Saints do not want Derek Carr as their quarterback. Derek Carr does not want to be the Saints quarterback. Like, basically, you just, because of the contract and the situation, you force him, like to, I don't want to say you forced him because he's still, for him to restructure that deal, they had to come to terms with that. But you're making him do something he doesn't want to do. This man wanted to go out here, probably wanted to test the market, and the Saints should have let him test the freaking market. They acting as if this dude is Joe Montana, Steve Young, Drew Brees himself. He is not. He is not. This was a great moment. This was a great moment for the New Orleans Saints to hit the reset button. There's not a Saints fan on God's green earth right now that is looking at the Saints as if they're a Super Bowl contender. Cut your freaking losses, man. Cut your losses and start the freak over. You can get a quarterback in the draft. You can get a young quarterback. I mean, Joe Milton III is out there. Roll with Spencer Rattler. Maybe go get Detroit about Hendon Hooker. You could get yourself a young quarterback. Allow Derek Carr to leave and exit stage left and build this team into something that people want to watch. Nobody is checking for the New Orleans Saints in 2025. I'm the biggest Saints fan that you ever did see. I grew up watching the Saints. I sat on my grandmother's floor at the age of 4 years old listening to the New Orleans Saints on the radio because the games were blacked out. I can remember my grandmother screaming to the top of her lungs every time Bobby Hebert would throw a touchdown or Dalton Hilliard would do something special. Or even, in the 90s when Mario Bates and Ray Zellers were around. I rolled back that far. But the reality is this, man. The New Orleans Saints organization is making their fan base miserable. And I'm not about to sit up here and lie to kick it. You know the truth. I know the truth. The world knows the truth. The Saints are not a contender. Mickey Loomis is looking more and more inept every single day. And he just refuses to understand that the New Orleans Saints fan base needs something different. You need to try something different. Bringing back the same usual suspects. Believing in your heart that, the reason why we lost 7 straight was because of the injuries. And you running back the same usual suspects. It is a recipe for disaster. If the New Orleans Saints don't go into this draft and draft a quarterback, all hell is going to break loose among New Orleans Saints fans. And they have no one to blame but themselves. They have no one to blame but themselves if that was to happen. Like I say, man, I ain't about to lie. I am not about to lie to kick it. I ain't about to lie to kick it. My work speaks for itself. I don't just sit out here and try to gaslight fans. I don't sit up here to just try to make people outraged. Everything that I come with facts. It's backed up by something that I read, something that I seen pertaining to this football team. But I ain't about to sit up here and lie to the people that support this show and the people that matter to me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. The energy that this dude comes with, it's just bad energy. Nobody will look at this New Orleans Saints team in 2025 if they were rolling in without Derek Carr and just be like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, like we just screwed. Like, oh, we ain't got Derek Carr. We just screwed. Like, people, I want y'all to understand how bad this thing is. I want y'all to understand how bad this is. People would rather see their uncle go out there and be the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints than to see Derek Carr as the starter. Why are they insisting on making Saints fans' lives miserable? I just don't understand it. Mickey Loomis just constantly just makes people feel as if he don't know what the heck he doing. Like, man, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I just don't get it. But with him restructuring this deal, they do save $31 million, which that's great, right? So you have some money that you can actually play with. But he's going to have, what, a $68, $69 million cap hit in 2026? Kicking a can down the road. You look at some of these teams, folks. You look at the Denver Broncos, cut their losses, got Bo Nix as their starting quarterback. You look at the New York Jets. They cut their losses with Aaron Rodgers. The New Orleans Saints just refuse to cut their losses. And it is very, very sad to watch. It is sad to watch. And quite frankly, man, you're going to have a lot of people that are Saints fans going to be tuned out. It's going to take a lot for Derek Carr to get back into the good graces of the Who Dat Nation. It just is. It's going to. I've been saying this for the last few episodes. It is going to take a Herculean effort by Derek Carr. It would have to be something that he has never done in his entire career. He got to be flirting with an MVP. He got to be up there for the MVP. The Saints got to make a deep run into the playoffs. That is what is going to turn people back towards him. Like, at first, people didn't know what to think about him. They were willing to give him a chance. But when people start seeing him, deflect blame, when people seeing him, get preferential treatment by that lame duck coach, Dennis Allen, when people started to see him blaming other players in real time, when they seen him going back and forth with Eric McCoy in the middle of a play, when people see he played about as pedestrian as somebody walking across the street through 3 quarters, and then the final 2 minutes he throws a touchdown. Now all of a sudden we just supposed to just completely absolve him from the mediocre play that we have seen over the last during the entire game. Now all of a sudden, like, we got to give him a hand clap because the last vision that we seen was him putting the ball into the end zone and the defense couldn't make a stop. The dude ain't it. He ain't it. He ain't it. Good quarterback, can be something on a team that has a really good defense, really good running game, coach that know what the heck they doing, but this is not the right fit. Saints fans are miserable with this dude as the quarterback. Y'all know I'm not lying. They are miserable. People don't want to see this dude. And based on the energy, not coming to the Super Bowl, not taking part in those activities on Radio Row, not coming to, some of the events around the city that they had, this basically just tells you that this dude ain't locked in with the city. I told y'all this. New Orleans is a place, if you love New Orleans, it will love you back. If you show New Orleans love, it will show love to you back. You can be gone 10, 15 years, come back, and it's like you never left. That's the reason why Sean Payton, for better or for worse, can walk down Bourbon Street and people still giving him high fives and saying, good luck, coach in Denver. We appreciate what you did. Because of what he did in the city. Drew Brees can walk down the street in the middle of the night. Nobody would touch him. Because of what he did and the love that he showed for the city. This dude, I'm telling y'all, got them Homelander vibes. If you ever seen this show called The Boys on Prime, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like Homelander. Like, I'll be anything that you need me to be. I'll smile in your face. I'll look the part. I'll act the part. But behind closed doors, man, there ain't no love lost here. New Orleans needs someone that they can rally around. Derek Carr ain't it. And I just don't understand why the Saints organization don't see that. I understand it's a business, but making a guy miserable that doesn't want to be here and making fans miserable. They got to pay their hard-earned money to go see a guy that's going to go out there and going to dink it and dunk it all the way and care more about self-preservation than winning a football game. Like, you're making your fan base miserable. And I don't know if Gail Benson understands this. I don't know if Dennis Lauscher understands this, but don't play with New Orleans Saints fans. Like, they will literally sit their behinds at home and chill and watch the games on TV and not spend a dime in the Caesars Superdome if they don't feel like their voices are being heard. You can bet on that. See, people just got this mind frame that, oh, this is America, this is football, they're going to watch it regardless. Yeah, people are going to watch football, but if you're asking them to go out here and spend their hard-earned money and sit in watching something that they know for a fact that more than likely is not going to give them the results, and that includes if Derek Carr comes out there looking like he did the first 2 weeks. See, this is what they don't understand. Oh, well, if he comes out there and he starts to play, people will turn around on him. No, they won't. It is going to take a Herculean effort for Derek Carr to get back into the good graces of the Who Dat Nation. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I don't know. I don't know what other way I can express that. If anybody on airline thinks that if Derek Carr goes out here throw for 300 yards for 3 weeks straight is going to get people on board, they're sadly mistaken. Nobody wants to see this dude as the quarterback of the Saints. I don't understand why the Saints don't understand that. So I would hope that they're looking at the quarterbacks in this draft. I would hope that they're actually looking at a quarterback that can be in free agency. Or I hope that they're actually looking at Spencer Rattler and looking at his development, because I'm telling you, you got to get a Saints fan something. Because right now it just seems like the whole organization is toned down towards what the New Orleans Saints fans need. And that's a problem. Rico says because it's looking like Mickey going to pass on Shedeur. I'm pretty sure he will. I'm pretty sure he will, because Shedeur Sanders does not mesh well with this boring, bland-ass organization. I'm just calling you for what it is. I have learned a lot over the last couple months and a half about this Saints organization. I got respect for the people that they provide us information and stuff like that. But at the same time, as I transition and work through what's going on in media and how I see how they roll, I can, like, to me, enough said. The way that the way that Shedeur Sanders is, his personality, how polarizing he is, the Saints ain't trying to check for that. They not. They not trying to check for that. The Saints want the Boy Scouts. The Saints want the guy that climbed up the tree and rescued the cat. Like, that's what they want. And that's the reason why, to me, you only have a handful of dogs on a football team and you got a bunch of Boy Scouts on the other side of the team. Not to say that those dudes can't play, but football is a way of life. It's an energy. The greats, they're wired different. There's a reason why I feel like the Saints found success with some of the players that they actually picked up, because they selected players that actually gave a damn about winning. They cared about the product that they put on the field. They had passion. They had energy. You couldn't tell them dudes that they weren't the best thing smoking when they were playing at their respective positions. No matter how limited they were, no matter how much they lacked certain athleticism, they got the job done. It's an energy that this team has been lacking for I don't know how long. And I get it, man. You want guys that have good character inside of your locker room, but you also need some dogs over here. You need a CD Deuce that's going to get into the head of the wide receiver. You need somebody that's going to be out there with that dog mentality like a Mike T. You can't just have a whole bunch of guys out here like it's American Idol and I just got the green. Happy to be here. Let me call on my mom. Mama, can you believe it? I made the team. Yeah, they're going to activate me from the practice squad. That's cool and all. I'm happy for those guys to get those moments, but you need some dogs on this football team. Somebody please tell me, like, for the exception of a handful of guys, where the heck are the dogs at? Where they at? You got a handful of dogs on this football team. Other than that, you ain't got nothing else. And I don't care who likes it. It's the truth. It is the truth, man. This team lacks dogs. You got a second round pick in Isaiah Foskey sitting on the bench. You got guys like Peyton Turner out here, you know, that's getting injured constantly. You got guys out here, to me, that I question their love for the game. Are you just doing this because you're athletic and, you know, maybe you were good and better than everybody else? Or, you know, I mean, he can help you out and give you generational wealth. I'm all for that. But while you're here, at least let's see what you can actually do. And the crazy thing about it is, folks, I'm saying this, but I don't even know if that's even the case. Because this whole mom and pop organization that we all root for is maybe the reason why these guys getting held back. Because, I owe it to this person over here. He's such a great person. We drafted them in the second round. We got to keep them going. But what about that linebacker right there, man? He's flying around the field, sideline to sidelines. Well, wasn't he up and drafted? I don't know if let's give this guy a chance. How about giving a guy a chance that's hungry? Aren't you tired as a Saints fan watching guys leave this organization and live up to their true potential? You can't just sit up here and say, well, we didn't know that was in them. That's your fault. If you didn't know that type of energy was inside of that particular player, that is your fault. That's bad evaluation. That's bad player development. Now, everything that I'm saying right now is based on what I have seen so far. This isn't including what Kellen Moore is bringing to the table, because organization, I do like that he's bringing in guys that have a reputation for developing players, for being teachers as well as coaches, because I feel like that is what's going to get you out of this cap situation that you're in right now. This is going to make you a formidable bunch going forward. But he's putting together a group of guys that can have a reputation of developing. Meanwhile, Mickey Loomis around here trying to keep around the same guys when we know for a fact that these dudes ain't got everything that you're looking for. You need to be looking in a draft or in free agency. No disrespect to Dante Pettis, but come on, man. Come on. Man signed midway through the season, was on the practice squad, got activated, scored a touchdown against Tampa Bay, I want to say the last week of the season. You know, did some in special teams, but all I'm saying is that was opportunity for maybe somebody else that can actually come in to make some noise. And I'm pretty sure you can find somebody that has a dog mentality that you can pay equal pay to what you're giving Dante Pettis. This is what I'm saying, man. The moves that are being made so far, like the lack of moves that are not being made right now, is just basically him tripling down on the fact, because he said it more than once, that it's the injuries, and that's the reason why the Saints fell off. I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. Josh, thank you very much for the $5. Says nightmare scenario, especially since Carr himself wanted to go to another team. We're going to be in cap hell for like 10 years. If this thing doesn't work out, I'm just saying this right now. I don't care. Once again, I don't care who like it. They done got me ticked off. If the New Orleans Saints don't pan out this season, Gail Benson, Dennis Lauscher need to be looking at Mickey Loomis. And a conversation needs to be had. It needs to be had. A conversation needs to be had about his future as the general manager of this team. Because right now it just seems like to me like, okay, we're going to give you another chance, but maybe this, when it comes to the Saints pecking order, so maybe they don't want to go outside the box, think outside the box, move on from the box. But I'm telling you, they better figure something out. This better work. It better work, because I'm telling you, if not, people are going to really, truly tune out on this football team as long as Mickey Loomis is the general manager. It better work out. Because people are tired of watching this nonsense. Like, man, you just got to cut your losses. Like, y'all up here pretending to be contenders, but right now you're struggling. Like, yeah, you can win some games. Like the Saints are going to win some football games. They're going to win some football games, man. Like, we know they're going to win some football games, but what are you actually going to win? Like, are you going to win just enough for you to be picking out of the top 10? Or are you just going to win enough, maybe not to get the quarterback to replace Derek Carr? This is what I'm talking about. If Derek Carr comes back and he plays, everybody feels like, okay, he'll do decent enough to keep the Saints in the game, decent enough for the Saints not to be able to pick his successor. Man, with Derek Carr, we can go to Detroit and knock off the Detroit Lions. Or we can go to Philadelphia and knock off the Eagles. Man, are you freaking kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? No way, no how. You know it, I know it. Ever since Derek Carr came here, I never bought a Carr jersey, and I'm still not going to do it. Man, I don't see too many Derek Carr jerseys around here at all. I don't see too many Derek Carr jerseys anywhere. And like I said, I'm like, Derek Carr is not a terrible quarterback. Just not a good fit, man. Like you ever been in a relationship or seen somebody in a relationship, man? What happened, man? Hey, man, we were just two different people, wanted two different things. I wish them the best, they wish me the best, right? Like that, like every relationship don't have to end with somebody car being keyed or tires being flat or furniture being broken. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't have to end that way. Sometimes it can be mutual. This is one of those situations where it's just not a good fit. It's just not a good fit, man. Derek Carr is not a good fit for New Orleans. He's just not. He's not a good fit. Not a bad quarterback, just not a good fit for the city. Like it is going to be. I wouldn't even want that if I was Mickey Loomis. I wouldn't even want it. Like I get why they restructured the deal because you're looking at it from a business standpoint, but I wouldn't even want this guy to be on this team, knowing that the fan base are going to be ready to boo this dude out of the building every single week. You got Saints fans that been Saints fans for I don't know how long. They talking about I'm out. People ain't checking for the Saints. Like people that love this football team aren't checking for it. Like they are literally right now, they are literally zapping the energy and enthusiasm from the fan base. And it's like they don't even care. It's like they take pride in doing it or something. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're taking pride in I'm just here to speak the truth, man. I speak for the people. I don't speak for airline. I speak for the people. The people, the energy of the Who Dat Nation, they don't want this dude. They don't want him. You know it. I know it. They don't want him. I hate Loomis right now. The Saints should rebuild. They should rebuild. Everybody know they should rebuild, for the exception of Mickey Loomis. Man, I don't see how people can justify these moves. I can't. I don't see how anybody can justify these moves. Knowing how Derek Carr feels about this team, I don't want to say about the team. I think he likes his teammates and all that kind of stuff. But the energy in which the Saints fans feel about Derek Carr, and it just seems like Derek Carr, he wants to cut ties with the team. They should allow that man to test free agency, see what's going on. Loomis might draft a quarterback until we get the quarterback of the future. Look, if they do that, I'm cool with it. If they do it, it will make sense. If the Saints, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling y'all right now, if one of these quarterbacks that are top quarterbacks fall to the Saints at 9 and they don't pick them, all hell is gonna break loose. You cannot be a team that you know for a fact in 2026 that you are probably going to move on from the quarterback that you have right now and not draft a quarterback that is going to be a top quarterback in this year's draft. So if Shadur Sanders, for example, drops to number 9, you need to draft him. I done heard people, man, oh, man, we don't want him here. We don't want him here. We don't want him here. Man, y'all must like losing. You must like losing. You must like losing. If you rather sit up here and lose and stink because you see, you know what I'm saying, a quarterback that actually has some confidence within himself and that showed you that he can actually play the game. But, oh, man, he too flashy. He too this. He too that. Like, man, y'all need to get with the 21st century. Get with the modern times, man. Like, buzz cut quarterbacks ain't it no more. Man, tucking his shirt in his pants and shaking hands like he a politician and all these. Like, who cares? Like, we want winners. Well, I'm speaking for the Saints fans that care about winning. I don't care about, he walked up to me and he was so presidential and he hugged me and then he hugged my dog too. That's what a lot of people get wrapped up in, and these traditional quarterback standards. Like, who cares? Like, you want that buzz cut quarterback? Oh, his hair too long. Oh, he's flashy. You seen how he was talking to the media? Who cares? Who cares? Like, who cares about that stuff? Except for people that time them passed them by. It's about winning. I don't care what the quarterback looks like. I don't care what color the quarterback is. I don't care what creed he is. If that quarterback can go out there and help the New Orleans Saints win a football game, that's all that should matter. And a guy having confidence in himself, I don't feel like that's a big issue. Did they say Shadur Sanders was arrested for drug possession? Did they say that Shadur Sanders was around this thing with domestic assault charges? No. The man is out here confident in his ability. Would you want him to walk around and say, hey, they got about at least 3-4 quarterbacks better than me? The man is confident in himself. I feel like that's something that's been missing from this organization for I don't know how long. How about we get some guys in here that's confident in their abilities? Want these Boy Scouts, man. Boy Scouts. Like, come on, man. Give me a freaking break. I want no Boy Scouts. I want somebody that's going to go out there and win. That's what organizations be looking for. You get the right people around these guys that can keep them bottled in, and then you go for it. Scarecrow, 8055, thank you very much for $5. Said, TJ, you have to start asking a big question. I really believe Mickey is self-sabotaging the Saints right now. I need him gone. I'm done with him. I don't know if he's sabotaging it. And that would actually make more sense. But the reality is he's not trying to sabotage the team, which is scary in itself that he's not. But these decisions, we'll see. I want Shadur here. I want Cam Ward here. Hell, I don't even mind Jackson Dart. Yeah, look, they need something. They gotta get a Saints fan something. Say, TJ, at the same price tag, would you rather have Derek Carr or Trevor Lawrence? I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Derek Carr. Like, at least that would make more sense. I'm paying a guy that's 25 years old. That type of money versus paying somebody that's 33, 34 years old. So I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the players in the locker room have lost confidence in Carr at this point. Well, look, man, they did the little survey, and it just seems like they have more issues with the front office, Mickey Loomis, than they do with any of the players that's on the squad, which I think that we're all in agreement with that. I thought restructuring Carr wouldn't touch DeMario's contract. Mickey's still restructuring older players' contracts. Carr equals Dennis Allen with a jersey on. I already read that one. Say, TJ, people want Boy Scouts. That's what it is, man. Like, them old traditions, Them old traditions when it comes to the quarterback play, like that stuff is passe. And a lot of people in Louisiana, in the Gulf Coast area, they need to wake the freak up. Like them quarterbacks that y'all used to know and love and admire back in them days, and those days are passe right here. They gone. They gone. Like, man, you have quarterbacks that believe in themselves. You live in a world where you have the NIL deals, these dudes coming into the NFL already rich, right? And these dudes have a sense of pride about themselves. They have confidence within themselves, and they don't have to just sit up there and just take this stuff, man. They don't have to sit up here and just like let these organizations like treat them like they ain't nothing. Oh man, we might grab you, we might not. Like if you don't grab me, that's cool. They ain't used to that. They want you to sit up there hat in hand. Please, sir, please, can you select me, sir? Like I can run real fast, I can jump real high. Man, these dudes like, man, hey, bro, I just got a $5 million deal off NIL. Man, I ain't about to run this 40. My work speaks for itself. Go watch the tape, as Derek Carr said. Go watch the tape. And these organizations don't like it. Rich people want to have control. They want to have control over you and your feelings, your views, and everything else. If they can't have that, then guess what? They're going to make a narrative where it can make you humble. That makes you come to them and be like, you know what? I'm sorry. That's what they want. But we live in a society today, them dudes don't have to deal with that anymore. They don't have to. They don't have to sit up here and just let you like just tear them down. They ain't got to sit up here and just run a 40 for your own amusement. If I feel like running a 40 is going to help my draft stock, there, let me go off in here. But if I feel like I'm a top 10 and you're going to judge me based on something that more than likely ain't going to matter if I'm in a league, fine. I'm not going to do it. It's a new day. It's a new era. TJ tucking his shirt in his pants. Yeah, man, hey, tuck the shirt in your pants. Oh, his hair too long. Oh, man, you seen him over there? He brash. He arrogant. Okay. Can he win, though? Sanders and Moore together would be beastly. Paulson Adebo to the Giants. Well, look, let me go ahead and let me see if I can read up on this, because I've seen quite a few people actually report this. I'm trying to see if I can actually see it come up, which doesn't look like it. Hold on, let me see if I can actually I don't know, man. Something going on with Twitter. I'm actually trying to log on to it and it's having some issues. So let's see. I don't see anything right now. So yeah, I don't see anything right now. Where did y'all get that information from? For those that are saying that Paulson Adebo going to the Giants, where did y'all get that information from? I'm actually looking. Okay, Giants signing Paulson Adebo. Okay, I see it. NFL trade rumors.com. I see them actually posting that. I guess X's Twitter is down right now. So all right, so the only thing I seen online so far was a $30 million deal on Paulson Adebo. Said it's true, TJ, Adebo to the Giants. Well, I'm not refuting it. I believe that it's happening, but I just want y'all know how y'all do it, man. Y'all put the information out there when we live, and a lot of things be going on in real time, with that. But yeah, I mean, I see it right now. I'm actually going to this. I guess I have to do Wikipedia. It says on February 11, 2025. Let's see. Well, yada, yada, yada. Why would that even be under his bio? I don't know. All right, but it's looking like it's the real deal. Paulson Adebo going to the Giants. So looking like a 3-year, $30 million deal. For congratulations to Paulson Adebo. You know, Paulson Adebo, Mr. Feast of Famine. You know, he's a guy who, he might have a bad play, but he'll come right back and have a good play right afterwards. So it's crazy, man. But so the Saints this basically changes a lot of things, man, because you got Alontae Taylor, who I feel like is going to play the nickel. You got Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's going to play the outside corner. He'll start. Now I'm looking at like who gonna play the other side? You know what I'm saying? You gonna put Shamar Jean-Charles out there again? Or they probably gonna end up drafting somebody. So is this gonna be a Will Johnson draft pick or something like that? Will they end up getting Will Johnson as the starting cornerback? Will they end up getting Malachi Starks to play in the secondary? So yeah, man, but Paulson Adebo go somewhere, go to the Giants, end up probably playing out his freaking mind. And then the next thing you know, we having another conversation about a Saints player they should have locked up. TJ, let's be real. Mickey knows how we feel. He literally trolling at this point. I don't even know if he trolling, man. I don't even know if he trolling. And I hope that he is, because that would make more sense. Rappaport reporting it. Yeah, I mean, I see that, it is official that he is going to the New York Football Giants. I mean, I see that. Like I said, I see the only thing that I've seen so far was NFL TR. Giants signing cornerback Paulson Adebo to a 3-year, $30 million deal. According to Ian Rappaport, the Giants are signing cornerback Paulson Adebo to a 3-year, $30 million deal. Of that sum, $20 million is guaranteed, and Adebo will make $12.5 in year one. It's a solid contract for a young player who had a potential breakout season cut short by injuries last year. Okay, so he's 25 years old. Look, man, we know that Paulson Adebo, some people have the issues with him, but to me, I think that Paulson Adebo was a feast of famine type cornerback. Like one play, he might look like, man, what the heck he doing out there? Then he'll come right back with a turnover. And he was making plays, man. He was making plays, man. He was getting the ball, turning the ball over, getting the ball back to the offense. So, I mean, I like Paulson Adebo. I've always liked him. I've always liked him. But, I mean, there are some free agents that are going to be a part of this class, at the cornerback position. The Saints are, we've been told that the New Orleans Saints are going to be pretty active this time around in free agency. I mean, they already signed Devon Gottschall, former LSU Tiger, went to Plaquemines High School out there in Plaquemines, Louisiana, 6'3", 330 pounds, guy who's 30 years old. The Saints gave up a 7-round pick for him. Look, man, I think this is a guy that you can just add to the 3-4 defense that you're trying to run. He's a big guy. He's a run stuffer. I think that, this is a good start. And giving up a 7-round pick, that's like a guy that you're not sure about. You can land a 7-round pick and he might make your team, he might not. But knowing that you can get a guy like Gottschall that can actually come in right away, that is a proven product, has been in the NFL since 2017. He was a 5th-round draft pick. He was drafted by the Miami Dolphins. Then he went to the New England Patriots from 2021 to 2024. Now he's with the New Orleans Saints. So this is a guy, a big physical guy, and I think that he'll be able to add to the running game to help the New Orleans Saints be able to, neutralize the run. Like if you're running a 3-4, you're going to need somebody that can be a large body that can demand a double team. So that's the first guy that I've heard of that have come off the street to join the New Orleans Saints. So there's that. All right. Free agent tracker. Let me take a look at this. All right. Now that we know that Now that we know that Paulson Adebo no longer be with the New Orleans Saints, and the New Orleans Saints more than likely will have to get a starting cornerback. I mean, there's a few guys that you can pick up. I mean, you got Travarius Ward with the San Francisco 49ers. He's an undrafted guy. You got DJ Reed, who played with the Jets last season. He's a free agent. Carlton Davis, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He'll be a free agent. Jonathan Jones, Byron Murphy, who I feel like, more than likely he's 27 years old. More than likely Minnesota going to try to work out a deal with him. You got former first-round pick Jeff Okudah, who played with the Houston Texans last year. Could he come over to the New Orleans Saints? They haven't really lived up to his potential. Then you got a couple guys that are familiar individuals, Kendall Fuller, Razul Douglas, Stephon Gilmore, up there in age. I don't know if you want to go that route. You got Dante Jackson, former LSU Tiger. You got C.J. Henderson, who was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you got Tre'Davious White that's out there playing with the Baltimore Ravens. So I don't know how they're going to approach this. Maybe add another, veteran cornerback. But to me, I think that you need to draft one. Whether it be the first round or the second round. At least Cincinnati had a great young quarterback in place. Kool-Aid and Taylor. Yeah, man, I would rather keep Alontae Taylor in a nickel and maybe drafting somebody or signing somebody that can play the outside along with Kool-Aid. Defense need an overhaul. Cornerback, safety, linebacker, defensive ends look weak. They definitely need an overhaul up front, but the way they restructure these deals look like going to be the usual suspects back again. Even though I think they're going to change out that interior. I mean, the trade for Godchaux just basically tells that tells me more than likely Nate Shepard ain't coming back, and you might make a tough decision on if you're going to keep Colin Saunders or not. So another great player we drafted who the free agent won't commit to, front office won't commit to. He will go be a stud in New York, and we will regret it. Carlton Davis just signed with the Pats. Well, that's off the board. Carlton Davis just signed with New England. Okay, well, that I didn't know. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, man, like I said, this stuff is happening in real time. Like I'm actually looking at I'm actually looking at Spot Track right now. And what you guys are telling me is happening in real time. So a lot of this stuff, I'm not looking at it. I'm not online to be able to see. So I'm pretty sure, and I appreciate y'all for that. I really do. I appreciate you all for keeping me up to date on this, because I would not know. I mean, this stuff is happening in real time. Man, TJ, this team is pathetic. Saints running an old folks home. Who that, man? Now, Paulson Adebo about to be one of the best corners in the league now just because he left the Saints. And man, this ain't even funny, man. I just hope all this stuff could be, just a bunch of white noise if the Saints can actually do something this season. But I'm not saying you got to have a splash, but the Saints got to do something to get the fan base back on board. Like right now, man, it's looking pretty dark, man. The energy of the Who Dat Nation is just, man, I can't even explain it, man. I haven't seen it like this since I was a young child. Like the way that people look at this football team. Am I crazy that I still believe in the Rattler, TJ? No, I don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy at all. I think you should believe in Spencer Rattler. I think that Spencer Rattler is going to be better, this year, to me, in my opinion. I think that you just need to get an opportunity, but I just think that the Saints I think they're afraid, man. I think they're afraid to go out there with Spencer Rattler. I think that they really feel in their hearts that they are a contender. They really feel in their heart that they're close, and they're not. And stuff like that. I don't agree with them, but I would expect for them to feel that way, you know, and they're inside that locker room. They know things that we're not privy to knowing, right? They know what's really causing the rift, what's really causing the hardships, where's the real division. Like, we basically just kind of like spitballing it, you know? And I don't know, man. I just look at this football team. I just see I feel they have a lot of work to do. And this isn't me like just being like hyper negative. I don't want to be negative about this team, man. But they're gonna have to figure this thing out, man. They moving like, man, we just a player away. We just, you know, a quarterback away. That's just not true, man. It's just not true. Got to take the highs with the lows. Been following Debo since Stanford. This blows. I still gotta look at Carr's stupid face every Sunday. You know, that's what I don't. That's the thing that really bothers me. It's not so much about, you know, having Derek Carr, but it's like you're getting rid of all of your young players. Like, all of these players that they drafted to make an impact and be cornerstone players for the future. They gotta get rid of these guys because they have these veterans who are 34, 35 years old on these you know, on these contracts and restructuring and kicking a can down the road with these guys. It's like you're doing this for so long, you can't even pay your young players. Like, there's no way in the world that Paulson Adebo, in a state of where the Saints are when it comes to the secondary, that this man should be on another football team. No way. But the thing about it is you can't even pay your young guys. You can't even pay the guys that's going to be your cornerstone players. You can't even pay them. Too busy still paying Taysom Hill, still paying Cam Jordan, still paying DeMario Davis, still paying Derek Carr, still paying Tyrann Mathieu. These are the guys that dominate the majority of the cap. Who's the youngest player on this team that has like some long-term security? Maybe Carl Granderson? Like, you got to let go of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You got to let go of Zach Bond. You got to let go of Trey Hendrickson. All that because you keep kicking a can down the road. And you consistently do it. You consistently do it. And putting yourself in an even bigger hole every single year. I just don't get it. If Derek Carr is not going to lead you to the Super Bowl, why in the world are we sitting up here doing this? Shouldn't have happened. Like, I don't know. Maybe Mickey Loomis really felt that Dennis Allen was going to be with the team for another 3 to 4 years. Maybe that's the case. Maybe he really thought that. So maybe that's the reason why he restructured Derek Carr's deal the first time. I would have just ate. I just would have ate that money. I would have just ate that money and just been like, you know what? Let's just hit that reset button. But now you freed up $31 million this year, but now you have a $60 million cap hit because of Derek Carr next year. Unbelievable. TJ, I was watching a short clip of Mike Florio and Chris Sims talking about how the Saints could probably still trade or cut Carr after June 1st this offseason, even after restructuring his contract. Well, look, if that's the plan, then I think that people would be more understanding about it. But man, it is that gray cloud that hovers over this organization right now, and that's Derek Carr. Like, for better or for worse, right or wrong, like that's the reality. That's the reality of it. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with my personal opinion of Derek Carr as a quarterback, as a human being. People just don't want to see this dude be the quarterback, their starting quarterback for their favorite team. They don't believe in this dude. And because they don't believe in this guy, they don't believe in his team. And look, I don't understand why people are like throwing a brick and hiding their hand or acting as if these problems don't exist. Like, what's the problem, man? Like, why we can't have this type of conversation? Why can't we be critical of this football team? Why is it that every time somebody has something to say, you can see these things happening in real time, but people will sit up there and just say, "Oh man, you just being a nuisance, or you just trying to start trouble, or you just trying to gaslight, or you just trying to the hot take and hot shot it." Like, dude, I got much better things to do with my time than to be sitting up here trying to come up with creative ways to make people dislike the Saints, a team that I grew up loving my entire young life and my entire adult life. I have watched this football team. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It just don't make sense. Like you question anything about the team? Oh man, you around here being negative towards the team. We don't want you. Like, man, knock it off. Knock it off. Carr not even reworking his contract to help the team shows he's not with us. He just wants to get paid. When cap hell can't even get a real good player if they're available. Yeah, Eric. I mean, and I want to say Ross wrote an article at LouisianaSports.net that was kind of highlighting that what I seen over the weekend. He basically said, and I'm just paraphrasing this, and it could have been him. I'm paraphrasing this, right? Basically saying like you had an opportunity to win, win some favor, among the Who Dat Nation by going out here doing something to sacrifice for the team, and you didn't. You didn't. You had an opportunity to change the narrative a little. And you didn't. You had an opportunity to try to right the wrongs, and you didn't, because you don't feel like I said, he doesn't feel like he owes the New Orleans Saints organization anything, and maybe that's just how he feels. But to me, Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints need to go to court and get themselves a divorce. That's just how I feel about it. Let's see. I love this team, but not surprised anymore with this franchise and this decision. Sometimes we just got to go through the bad in order to get to good. Trust and process. We will rise again. I believe in my team. Look, I believe in this team. I believe in who they selected as a head coach. I like the move that he's making. That's the reason why y'all ain't hear me say too much about Kellen Moore. I'm not buying that stuff about, oh, man, Kellen Moore, he a yes man and all that. Man, I'm not buying that stuff, bro. This guy understands the situation that the Saints are in. I'm pretty sure that he's probably talked to the New Orleans Saints. They know that what he feels the Saints need in order for them to win. But he just understands what a Saints cap situation is right now. So by them going out here saying they committing to Derek Carr is basically like saying, okay, man, we just trying to do something to save the cap. So I'm not gonna go after Kellen Moore because of this. Like, Kellen Moore just got here, right? I think that people want Kellen Moore to walk in, kick open the door and say, hey, okay, you're fired. I don't even know you. Do you work here? No. Well, if you did, you'll be fired. Like, come on, man. Like, he's putting together his coaching staff. He's putting together a group of guys that he feels is going to help this team be able to develop talent. I haven't seen anything that he hasn't done that was wrong. Like, we knew that the restructure was coming before Kellen Moore even got there. Like, we knew this. Like, we knew that Derek Carr was going to have a restructure because how the cap was set up. I think that we kind of all wanted, Kellen Moore to kind of just be like, nah, we don't want him, and made us feel good. But that wasn't what's best for business at that point. So I understand that, but still should have cut your losses. You do not fix this team without letting Loomis go. You just don't. I just hope that if this does not pan out in this final season under Derek Carr, because more than likely it will be, I just hope that Lauschia and Gail Benson have a conversation. Have a conversation with Mickey Loomis, because to me, Mickey Loomis still upset in certain ways. I feel like that they got rid of Dennis Allen. They kind of went over his head. Maybe he felt emasculated. Maybe he felt embarrassed. Maybe he felt like some type of way, maybe he feel some type of way about it. And maybe he trying to prove somebody wrong, the fans wrong, the organization wrong for questioning him. But all I know is some winning better come behind 2025. Some conversations need to be had about who's going to be the next general manager of the New Orleans Saints, because it's gonna come a point. It's gonna really reach a point where people aren't going to want to come to the New Orleans Saints organization because he's the general manager. And we've seen these situations happen. We've heard about these type of situations happen. Hell, we even heard about this situation happen with a coach that they wanted. So I'm telling you right now, like the reputation of the New Orleans Saints among the National Football League is them having bad practices, kicking this can down the road, and refusing to accept change, refusing to hit the reset button. And I'm telling you right now, that's the language, that's the energy that the masses are coming with when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. And just saying, oh, there's only a handful of people that really understand what's going on, and keeping like all of the local media in the fold, and not letting the outside really know what's going on. Like, you can do that for so long, but we all know how that rolls. Like you like when you're not winning, things are not happening in your favor. You don't have to be inside the room for people to understand what the heck going on. And you can try to blow that out there, you know what I'm saying, into the atmosphere, like, y'all don't know what's happening. Y'all don't know the real deal. You don't know what's like, who cares? Like, we don't have to know what was said in a press conference at 11:15 off the record in order for us to see what in the world is going on with this football team. You don't have to see it. Like, we don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to be a part of it. So you can try to protect and try to hide things from the fans, or give it to them, bird feeding them. But eventually people are going to figure out what you're trying to do or what you ain't doing. I ain't got to be in the room to know that this team is looking rough. You got to be there. I ain't got to ask you that question. If you are a disgruntled employee, then it's time to go. Mickey ain't no different. And retail managers get fired quick and making decisions based off anger and being disgruntled. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it's supposed to go. But these are the Saints we're talking about. This is what I think about the Saints. I see a team who has won only one Lombardi championship in franchise history. This team has very low standards, and all they want to do is win the division. I don't even know if they want to do that. Like, to me, like, I feel like maybe that was a goal at once, but now I just feel like it's just it just seems like you have a general manager that just wants to prove to the masses that he can be right about something. He wanted to be right about Dennis Allen. That's the reason why he went into that press conference chewing gum and comparing him to Chuck Noll and Bill Belichick and all that, right? Wanted to be right about him and wrong. Wrong about him, end up getting fired, after losing 7 straight games. This was your Chuck Noll. Like, if you had a Chuck Noll, no matter what the situation was, he ain't losing 7 straight games. If you had Don Shula, he ain't losing 7 straight games. I don't care who you got, right? I mean, if you got a coach that resembles anything of those individuals, they ain't losing 7 games. You can talk about injuries, but we just seen this team get decimated with injuries and still find a way to be formidable. We seen that. So for them to sit up here and just say, "Oh man, that's just what it was," and believe that, I mean, it just straight up denial. Straight up denial, man. Like, you lying to yourself. You lying to the fan base, and you lying to yourself. But the fan base, like, they already hip to what you're doing. They already know. TJ, I see a report that the Falcons released Grady Jarrett. Can you confirm? Can Arthur, I'm here in real time. If they released them, then I wouldn't know about it. Breaking free agent, Milton Williams is signing with the Panthers. This is what I see so far. Let's see. Paulson and Debo got signed by the Giants. We see that. Let's see. The Patriots are signing free agent Morgan Moses. Not saying anything about Grady Jarrett so far. Let me just type his name in, and let's see if that'll actually tell me something. All right. He is trending right now. All right. So there is a part of NFL.com. Yeah, the Falcons released defensive tackle Grady Jarrett. So Grady Jarrett no longer with the Atlanta Falcons. I know Grady Jarrett has had some injuries throughout his career. You know, it kind of sidelined him for a little while, but he's always been a talented interior guy. No, I don't feel like the Saints need to sign him. Bears defense will be fire. Nuts like the Eagles defense, us fire. Some guys are good coordinators, but bad head coaches. Dennis Allen, Vic Fangio are good coordinators. Yeah, I mean, look, I expect for Dennis Allen to be a really good coordinator because that's what I feel like he is. He's a coordinator. That's what it is. You know? But I just think that the New Orleans Saints just need to understand what reality is right now. Reality is, man, fans just not going to rally behind Derek Carr no matter what happened. TJ, where does Derek Carr rank at quarterbacks in NFC South? I put him like second or third. Like I went like he's not the this is the thing, man. He's not the worst quarterback like that you ever seen. Like he's not terrible. Like I'll put him like second. Like because here's the thing. I'll put Baker first because Baker Mayfield, like him or not, man is a warrior, man be battling, and he's won a division every single year since he's been a starting quarterback. And he has made, some respectable runs in the postseason as the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I would put him at number one. I'll put Derek Carr at number two. I haven't seen enough out of Michael Penix. I would basically be giving him, I'll basically be giving him the stamp of approval just on upside alone and in a handful of games. Bryce Young, he might be able to make that step, based on how he played towards the end of the season. If he can come in with that same energy next season, then, he will catapult Derek Carr. But yeah, I'll put Derek Carr second. I'll make him second. But I mean, who are we talking about here? Like, who are we talking about? Like, I mean, look, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, Michael Penix, like two young quarterbacks that's trying to find their way, and two veteran quarterbacks. That's not saying much at all. So yeah, but I'll put him second. I wish Gail fired Loomis and made Breeze the new GM. Everyone would be happy. I mean, everybody would be happy, but the question would be, can Drew Brees do a good job as a general manager? I mean, you'll just be happy on namesake. Can he be a good general manager? We don't know. And I won't want to, that is something that a lot of Saints fans have to come to grips with. Like, would you the goodwill that Drew Brees has built up throughout his time as being the starting quarterback and the greatest New Orleans Saints player of all time? If he goes into that front office and start making mistakes and not bringing in the right players, the way that you look at him now is not going to be the same way you look at him, at that point. You're going to look at him differently because you have something else to base them on. So unless he's about to knock it out of the park, I wouldn't want Drew Brees as general manager. I wouldn't want Drew Brees associated with this organization in any way unless I know for a fact he'll be able to put together something respectable in his post-playing career as he did when he was playing the game. Because we may not want to admit it, but those things matter. Like the way that you look at Jordan for the Bulls is not the way that you look at Jordan for the Wizards. I would rather Gail make Randy Mueller GM again. He already a consultant. Well, I don't know about that either. This is a good move because he's known for PI calls right or wrong. I don't think that is a good move. I think that Paulson Adebo, yeah, he'll be a little handsy, but then he'll come right back again and turn and get an interception. So, look, I just think that we have this. We when we watch football, right? we feel like every corner that we see is supposed to be locked down, shut down, throw on their side of the field. The ball don't get to the receiver. Like everybody's not going to be locked down, shut down. It's the reason why we celebrate those guys. There's a reason why those guys are all pros and stuff. Like everybody is not going to be cut from that cloth, but that does not mean that they don't have value. Paulson Adebo has value. Like everybody's not going to be locked down, shut down every play. It's just not going to happen. And I just think that when we evaluate cornerbacks, quarterback drops back, throws the ball to the wide receiver, that cornerback right there. Oh man, shoot, man! I thought he could do something. I thought he was good. Like wide receivers get paid a lot of money to catch these passes too. And also, everybody's not going to be like a lockdown, shutdown corner. They can be at the number one position, and they still won't be a lockdown, shutdown corner. Everybody don't possess those skills. But to say I wouldn't want Paulson Adebo back on the Saints because, he'll give up a pack around and give you an interception. Man, like if you're looking at him like he Revis or, Stephon Gilmore or prime Laddie, he might not be able to check those boxes, but to say that I wouldn't want Paulson Adebo to play for the Saints, like, man, it's good enough to play for the play and be a starter. With a completely new coach staff, it makes sense that we are trading some guys. Yeah, I mean, makes sense, to be able to do an overhaul, of your football team, but at the same time, you don't want to keep around some of these guys that I feel like more than likely, kind of up there. And I think that you could probably utilize some younger players. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I think that you're going to see some players end up, being released by the Saints pretty soon. Hey, TJ, who you think will be a good backup behind Kamara? I know we still have Miller, resign Clyde, and release Williams. Anybody in the draft or free agent you can think of? I would go with a younger guy. I would go with a younger guy like RJ Harvey out of Central Florida. If you don't want to draft Ashton Genty early, you can. They got several other like running backs that you can actually choose from. But RJ Harvey would actually be one. Ollie Gordon would definitely be one, in my opinion. Those are two young guys that I just feel like, you can have them learn behind Alvin Kamara and be a change of pace back if the whole Kendre Miller experience don't work out. Well, Saints are about to go resign Eli Apple. I hope not. I hope that ship has sailed. Let's see. Release the entire defense except Kool-Aid. I don't think that's going to happen either, Linda. I just think that the Saints just need to get younger, and I think it's going to start with the draft. Have these young guys, accompany some of these seasoned veterans, and let's see if it actually works. Cornerback DJ Reed plans to sign with the Detroit Lions, a 3-year, $48 million deal. So DJ Reed is off the board. Like I said, Morgan Moses, he's off the board. Paulson Adebo, he's moving on. I'm told that the Raiders have narrowed the choices down to his final two teams. And they're talking about cornerback Nate Hobbs. So he's figuring it out. Carlton Davis going to the New England Patriots. Thank y'all for that. They say Aaron Rodgers is getting close to signing a deal with the Steelers. We'll see about that. I know his name has come up with the Steelers as of late. So that can be interesting. What they're going to do with Justin Fields. So a lot of questions need to be answered, right? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, but I'm just going to leave it here. And my final thought is very, very simple. I understood why the New Orleans Saints restructured the deal of Derek Carr. I just feel like New Orleans just needs. I just feel like they just need to separate from this guy. It don't seem like he really wants to be in New Orleans. It don't seem like the fans want him to be there. And I know people will say it don't matter what the fans think, but It's a business at the end of the day. But I just don't know how you're going to be able to repair this. And it's gonna be deeper than just going out there and throwing for a whole bunch of yards. Like Derek Carr is going to have to show the New Orleans Saints something that they haven't seen in a long time in order for him to get back in their good graces. There's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, about his commitment and his love for the city. And we know that New Orleans and the Saints fans, they can smell when somebody just selling them that BS. And can do something, add some players to this team that the Who Dat Nation can get behind, be able to support, and be able to go to these games and enjoy the product that is being put on the field. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Once again, my name is Timothy J. Jones. I'm the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and you can check out the State of the Saints podcast anytime right here on YouTube. You can check out previous episodes. Also, you can follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8. Also, Saints Talk with Timothy J. Jones every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Bleacher Report. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat?